say what they want to about the Category 1s. This was a bad storm.
If I'd have been in this house tonight the storm come through, I'd have died.
I believe a lot of people after this one's going to head out of here.
This is going to be a big storm, and it is going to have a dramatic effect on the east.
Moving north at about 14 miles an hour.
I'm Storm Track 12's Chief Meteorologist Skip Waters, tracking Hurricane Irene.
And in just the past few minutes, the rain has started to intensify.
We are really starting to see the teeth of Irene here. She is knocking down trees, taking out debris.
I'm on top of the North Topsail Island Bridge. We're pretty high up. Wind gusts coming down pretty good right now.
That means from 8 o'clock last night to 8 o'clock this morning, we've seen a 3-foot rise in the water, and it's still raining.
We have probably a third to a quarter of a mile of water in front of us.
Okay.
And behind us.
Steady waves are continuing to crash under this pier. But as you can see, the breakers are coming over the wall right now.
County, I could really feel that the wind was coming through, the rain was coming down, and because of that, the water is rising. And
we're getting a break in the rain, but what's really amazing is the rise in the river level. We're here at the mouth of the Neuse River, and just a couple hours ago when we came to you here in the early evening, this water was about 5 feet lower.
Take a look at the scene behind me here. The boats have gone up onto the ground from this marina.
At some time over the night, Irene just picked it apart here. You can see out there the pilings, a few of them still remain out there in the water, showing how far this pier used to go.
The city of Jacksonville is under a state of emergency like a lot of places here in the east.
We have a lot of crews out today assessing the damage for themselves.
You know, we're a close-cut family, so we just gonna pull together and decide what we're gonna do.
It was really scary.
You know, oh my God. Like I thought there was no way we could get it. No way. But we did.
The Marine Rescue Helicopter, known as Pedro, taking off Saturday after being on display at the North Carolina Chili Festival in Havelock. At first, it's a fun sight for anyone who likes seeing things in the air, but then it turns from sight to scare.
We saw tables and chairs and people were running.
It was like a tornado hit us. All of our tables and chairs started moving, our tent started blowing away. It was just chaotic.
Collins shot the video.
A tent swallowed me up and I got hit in the head with a steel pole.
The incident sent 4 people to the hospital and knocked 1 person unconscious. The Marine base refused a request for an on-camera interview, but said that changes will be made to make the chopper's next public appearance safer.
Reported gunman was spotted near 5th Street and Reed Circle in downtown Greenville, which is right near campus.
I do see ECU police officers walking with rifles, sweeping the building.
29 dogs went on every single bus sniffing just to see if that armed gunman was there.
There are also officers with guns that are blocking people from actually getting into the main parts.
All right, if you're just joining us here on NewsChannel 12, we've got a situation we're alerting to you to on the campus of East Carolina University in Greenville. A person carrying what looks to be some sort of gun, whether it is a rifle, a shotgun, they have not confirmed. A male was spotted at what time this morning?
This was about 10 o'clock this morning.
10 o'clock this morning, a male spotted walking from the downtown area towards the Greenville campus wearing a backpack and carrying what appears to be some sort of weapon, either a shotgun or a long rifle.
The person was not a threat and was not carrying a weapon.
If they would get their act together and let us know what is really going on, then I think everybody would be a lot less on edge.
We are looking into some complaints that we've gotten, and once we look into those and assess them, then we'll see what we need to do to change.
I heard a whooshing noise, and I laid there for about a minute, and I thought, kind of an unusual sound. Then I looked at my curtains and they were glowing, so something was wrong. It's unbelievable how fast and how hot it got. I mean, just really quick. It didn't take long for them to burn.
The boats were under a covered dock slip such as this one, but when firefighters arrived on scene, that dock had collapsed, making it difficult for them to get to those boats on fire underneath.
I heard somebody screaming, and then, then I saw them waving their hands. There was 3 people on the end of the dock that they couldn't get off.
There's a lot of dollar value in boats down here in these marinas, and 26 boats is a large number, but it could have been hundreds of boats involved.
If everything hadn't worked out just the way it did, I think it would have been a completely tragic end.
The sheriff's office determined it was an electrical fault that started the fire here that destroyed around 26 boats.
If you live in the Tabernacle community along the Swansboro-Belgrade Road, you need to move to the center portion of your house.
This is the first video we have in from today's damage. This is sent in from Snow Hill.
There are quite a few people who have lost their homes, so they are looking for a place to sleep tonight.
This is what's left of their family home. And if you look to the second floor, that's where they were when their roof was torn away by the tornado.
Up here is one of the hardest hit areas. There were several people who died in this area. The trees, you can tell, are just split. They practically look like toothpicks out here that have just been split in half.
This tells the story. The rest of North Carolina needs to see this story.
We were watching the news and it said if you lived in the Snow Hill area, it's time to go to, you know, what do you call it?
Safe area.
Safe area.
This Falcon Bridge model home sign is part of the mess, but it was picked up in Pamlico County. Falcon Bridge is south of the Neuse River. The tornado blew through the neighborhood, but instead of throwing the sign a short distance away, the sign stayed in the air and landed in a field off of Scotttown Road in Pamlico County.
During the search, shots were fired. An officer was injured, but at this point in time, we don't know the extent of the injuries to the officers.
Night fell, officers roamed the streets with assault rifles, and then word came. Warren Sneak Lewis, a deputy in Nash County for 9 years, a sworn U.S. Marshal, shot and killed. Boxes of evidence brought out, all to support what officers told us happened Thursday night. At first, police and marshals went after murder suspects, but they weren't home.
Officers returned to the residence yesterday evening.
Documents say that authorities came to this West Kinston boarding house looking for the suspects. They asked the father of one of the suspects if he was home. He said no, the suspect isn't around, but authorities were tracking them using cell phones, so they knew they had to be here. They looked at a different apartment, and that's when the gunshot that killed Deputy Lewis was fired. But according to a day-by-day reading of court documents, the fugitives were waiting with plans to shoot it out with police because they were not going to prison.
Plumes of smoke billowed as ash fell like snowflakes Tuesday night.
Looked in the bed of my truck and listen, as you can see, the ash is really falling down.
Days like today, as soon as you get out of the truck, you start sweating, and you don't stop until you go home and take a shower.
It was just gross. It was almost like a heavy fog, but you could smell that it was smoke.
You know, we're experiencing unusual weather patterns right now.
Normally at this time of year, the North Carolina State Forest Service is heading west to help with other states' fire seasons. But this year is different. So they're fighting 2 fires in Pender County that both started with lightning. The Holly Shelter fire on the east side of the county has consumed almost 22,000 acres. And on the border with Sampson County, the Blueberry Farm fire has grown to almost 700 acres.
We're doing the best we can to get it under control.
A news alert off the top tonight. A local girl is rescued after being trapped for nearly 2 days in a wrecked car. A 9-year-old girl is in a local hospital tonight after being pulled from a crumpled car. She spent nearly 2 days trapped inside, surviving on Pop-Tarts and Gatorade.
I'm walking down 55 and there's a car laid on the side in a ditch, and I'm trying to figure out whether anybody knew about it or not.
Well, Jordan Landon was in a nightmare situation. She was in an overturned car, literally pinned upside down for days next to the body of her father who had been killed in the crash.
We keep digging up the facts on that story of survival.
News Channel 12 has also learned the father and daughter left a convenience store not far from their house just minutes before the crash.
Point Doug Landon twice lowers his head, and twice Jordan playfully taps her dad on the brim of his hat. The two get up a few moments later. It's then the camera catches a moment perhaps Jordan will always remember. The little girl walks up and hugs her dad, leaning on him for several moments. Daddy and daughter then leave the store, carrying their bags that held the Pop-Tarts and Gatorade Jordan would survive on during her 44 hours trapped inside their wrecked car.